Parson, you caught me. But I'm riding a long and dusty range on a strange bronc. You are a sky pilot, ain't you?
That's right. Oh, well, it's all right. I didn't bring my pulpit along. Fact is, I don't have one yet.
Do you mind?
No.
Just getting started branding for the Lord, huh?
On a way of speaking, yes. I'm assigned to Pembroke.
I know that country. Not personal, but I've heard plenty about it. Biggest ranches in the state.
Oh?
I reckon Pembroke's due for a preacher. A young'un, from what I hear. Oh, nothing solid you can stub against, you understand? Just a whisper of the wind and a hoot of the owl.
What have you heard?
Well, you might have to do some mighty hard riding to round up the devil's skulls there, Parson.
Pembroke! Pembroke!
Here's your range, Parson. Keep your saddle cinched.
Thanks, friend.
Anything the matter, Parson?
You ever prayed?
Me? Not since I was knee-high to a wobbly calf. Wouldn't know how to start.
Well, you just think of me every now and then. Ask inside real hard that I get along. That's one way.
You want me to pray for you?
Why not? I'll make it an even trade, friend. I'll pray for you.
All right, Parson. You win.
Hello.
Howdy.
Which way is the center of town?
Straight out the road.
Thank you.
Hey, now. You've won. You've won, both of you, I think. Come on now. War's over. Come here, boy. Come on, boy. War's over. Come on now. You hit him, too. Now, you've both had enough. Come on.
What? Tommy, you know better than that.
Now, you heard the ladies. Now, you stop it. Go on.
Thank you, sir. You're the only decent man in Pembroke.
That's mine.
I know. Just looking.
It's a funny town, stranger. A man can live long or die sudden.
Oh, I've heard that before. What's this depend on?
Simple, friend. Just watch the ground before your feet. Folks have been known to live for months that way.
Well, you're a light in the darkness. Bit dim and uncertain. Still a light. I'll consider your advice.
You must be Reverend Butler. Welcome to Pembroke.
Thank you.
I'm Ann Davis. This is my father.
Mr. Davis?
Reverend Butler. Mr. Sawyer. Our new Reverend. Mr. Halcomb. This is Lath Sawyer, Reverend. He runs over 2,000 head.
Mr. Sawyer, I work cattle myself.
Not much of a churchman, Pastor.
Ed Halcomb, farmer.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Mr. Halcomb.
Well, Ann, we better get back to the store.
Yes, Dad. We'll see you soon.
Yes, I hope to see you all in church tomorrow.
Let go my collar. You turn loose of me, Sheriff. You got no right. Keep quiet.
This your bag, stranger?
I believe it is.
I keep telling you, Sheriff, I was just bringing it to him.
Oh, sure. Only you were going the other way.
Parson, Ben Seal, sheriff.
Howdy, Parson. Give him the bag, Hub.
Would you like to carry it the rest of the way?
I sure would.
Come on. Sheriff. Miss Davis. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you very much indeed. I guess you've had better churches, Parson.
It's the first one I've ever had.
No, I thought you'd been doing the Lord's work for years.
It's my loss, not the Lord's. Ever take a look at the parsonage?
Might as well. Of course, it ain't like it was when I built it.
When you built it?
I thought that'd surprise you. I built the church, too.
Well, Mr. Wren, you amaze me.
Well, I sort of amazed myself, too. From town builder to town drunk. I guess I've outlived my usefulness.
Well, the gate sure did. You fix it?
I sure can.
Wren.
Draw, open up fast.
Don't forget the sugar and coffee.
I've got the list.
Oh, Dad, please.
Edith. Josh, take her away. Go on.
Step out, Sawyer.
Don't either one of you lay hand on a gun.
Get back before you get hurt, preacher.
All right, I want you.
You reach for a gun.
I don't need one to face you. Mr. Sawyer, you're a cattleman, or at home on a horse and in a gunfight. Go home. Draw and shoot, bury the dead. It's not a very pretty picture, is it?
Move out.
Let's go.
I want to thank you.
Grayon, it's the name. I represent Western Railroad. That man works for the railroad, but his job is to protect farmers, not shoot unarmed preachers. I heard you were in town. I wanted to meet you.
I'm glad you did.
You're important to the railroad. Church means that a country's settled, that there's law and order, growing population, business in the area. Church is dependent on prosperity.
That's a point that sometimes pinches.
Exactly. And we want to help the church, try to build up the country, bring people in, see that the farms and ranches flourish. Well, I have to be moving. It was nice meeting you, Parson.
Well, come to services tomorrow, Mr. Arnett.
Wouldn't miss it. Goodbye.
Bye.
You really stopped a bad one.
Well, I need some sugar and flour and coffee and tea. It's a pretty big list.
Reverend, the books. Reverend, I'm ready for the books.
Oh. Hey, Mr. Wren, what's all the trouble about in this town?
You better ask Gray Arnett.
What's Arnett got to do with it?
He represents the railroad.
What's the railroad got to do with it?
Just ask Lath Sawyer. He represents the ranchers.
If you say so, it's true. Now, what about the ranchers?
Just ask Ed Halcomb.
Mr. Wren, what should I ask Ed Halcomb?
Well, you might ask him about Vigo Tomlin.
Who's he?
He's the man that nearly shot you.
Oh. Where does that sheriff fit in?
Oh, he's a mugwump.
Hmm?
He's always waiting to see which way the tide will go. He's scared of the ranchers, scared of the farmers, scared of Vigo Tomlin. He's a big blunder.
He arrested you, didn't he?
Oh, well, I'm in a group all by myself.
How about the townspeople? How do they feel?
Well, they're sitting on the fence. Reverend Tewell wanted to do something about it, but he was old and tired.
And had no cooperation.
Maybe this could go over there.
Hey, Mr. Wren, you think we'll ever get this house cleaned up?
Sure, we can. But you better think it over. if I keep working for you with my reputation, might be you're starting off on the wrong foot.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it. I think we both have a lot to live down. You keep going, old-timer. I'll be right back.
We sure could use some more books. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. There's so much to be done. Lord, show me how. I expected to see the church packed this morning. I expected it partly because I'm the new preacher, and partly because, as a stranger, I walked into the middle of things yesterday. I guess some folks don't consider either one of those facts important enough. It's hard for me to forget what happened in the streets of Pembroke yesterday. As to why it happened, there are many questions I'd like to ask to get to the bottom of the whole thing. But not here, now. My sermon this morning will deal with the importance of prayer, and I take my text from...
It was a fine sermon, Reverend.
Thank you, Mr. Arnett. I'd like you to have supper with me tonight.
Well, I'd like to, but I'm having supper with Miss Davis tonight. Perhaps you could stop by my office sometime.
That'll be fine.
Good. Ann?
Dawson?
Mr. Sawyer, could you and your daughter have supper with me tonight?
Well, I don't know, Parson.
We'd be delighted.
Well, thank you both.
Goodbye, Reverend.
Goodbye.
Fine, Reverend. Splendid.
You said grace at the table, Reverend, but I haven't heard any real preacher talk out of you since. The others would have worked a sermon in.
Oh, you'll get your preaching, my friend. Church is a vital, active part of life, like breathing. Quoting the scriptures at every breath doesn't make a man any better or worse. It's what's inside. The way a man secretly thinks, that's what he really is, no matter what his mouth declares. There. You've had your preaching. Mr. Sawyer, these serious differences between you ranchers and the farmers create a very dangerous situation.
Now, just a moment, Reverend. We ranchers opened up this country, made it safe for civilized folks to live and raise cattle. The railroad brought in the farmers. They cut into our graze, fenced and plowed our land. This isn't farming country.
Well, I understand the railroad owns that land.
That's right. When the railroad built across the country, the government gave them a mile of land on each side of the track. And a couple of years ago, they decided to sell it.
And they had a right to sell it to whomever they wanted.
Well, they had title. Whose side are you on, anyway? Trouble started when they sold to the farmers instead of the ranchers.
Did you bid for the land?
Not high enough, but as much as we could afford. So then Arnett tells us the railroad says no to us. Orders us off graze we've used since we first came in here. We'll fight the railroad and the farmers if it takes every gun and rifle in the country.
Guns won't get you that land.
No, guns have kept it for the farmers. Maybe the railroad will come to their senses and deal with us. And if you want what's good for Pembroke, Parson, you'll side with us.
I'm on the side of peace.
Well, the farmers sure don't want peace. They had the railroad bring in land guards, Vigo Tomlin. They keep burning our ranches.
You keep burning their farms. There's no end to it.
And if you really want to help us, Reverend, you make the railroad understand that.
Then you do ask me to take sides.
No offense, but a preacher doesn't always know when to be practical.
Is it more practical to use a gun instead of intelligence? You have a lot to learn about preachers, Mr. Sawyer. So what would you call practical? There was a man once who turned the other cheek to wrath and gave love for hate, and they said he wasn't practical. No, Mr. Sawyer, I've never heard of an argument that was worth a man's life.
Reverend, I'll go along with that. Just so long as the farmers don't take over the church the way they're trying to take over the range. If they do, come on, Edith.
Good night, Reverend. Thank you.
It's simple enough, Parson. The railroad has to sell the land which it got from the government for the best price it can get. That means farmers. And I can see nothing wrong with it. We've got our legal rights.
What if a man's legal rights lead to murder?
Why don't you ask the ranchers about that? They break the law. They're trying to drive off the legal owners. They attack their homes. Run cattle on land to which they have no title.
What about him?
The ranchers are armed too. You don't fight a rifle with a willow switch, Parson. But don't misunderstand me. The railroad wants peace. Perhaps together we can find it.
Well, thank you for your time, Miss Johnette.
Not at all, Parson. I'm glad to be of help.
I got the horse you wanted, Parson. And, I watered him, too.
Thanks, Mr. Wren.
Where are you off to now, Parson?
Out to see Ed Halcomb.
Huh?
Get his side of the story.
Oh.
I'll have him back by nightfall, Mr. Maddox.
Good afternoon, Mr. Halcomb. A nice farm you have here.
It's been hard work. I keep working and hoping that the yield will be good for all.
Mr. Halcomb, you think Vigo Tomlin's for the good of all? I've been told he and his men are killers, are hiding under the railroad's special law badge.
Yes, they are. But does a drowning man ask what kind of wood's in a plank that floats by? We've been jailed, fined, shot at, our farms burned.
Why haven't you gone to the law?
What law is there for us when the ranchers tell the sheriff what to do? Seal's been elected by them and the townspeople who were intimidated. We're outnumbered. We haven't got the strength to stand up against them. That's why the railroad brought in Vigo and his men to protect us.
There's another way.
I understand you had Sawyer to dinner.
Yes. I also had a talk with Arnett. You know, Sawyer's just about as stubborn as you are.
Not quite. Stubborner. But he'll learn.
You'll both learn. If you want to live.
We all want to live.
Then the only way is to get both sides together. Talk it out. Not with guns. Trust in each other. And faith.
We'll meet here as quick as possible, right?
Yeah.
Everything we have.
Recognize any of them?
No. Probably Sawyer. Let's go.
Hold it, Tomlin. Oh, you raided Sawyer's cattle herd. Didn't you know they'd strike back?
When we get through with them, they'll leave farmers alone.
If there are any farmers left.
I thought you were on our side, Mr. Halcomb.
I am. I farm more land than any of you. But I want to keep on farming it.
You sound like you've been listening to that preacher.
Just looking at it different, that's all.
Preacher put water in your veins? Sawyer's ranch.
You're not raiding Sawyer's ranch, Tomlin.
Who's gonna stop me?
I am. Even if I have to ride there and warn them.
You turn against your own men, Halcomb?
Maybe I'm helping them.
You're making a mistake. Sawyer will think we're whipped if we don't strike back.
I'll take that chance.
You're taking on a mighty big responsibility, farm boy. Back to town.
I'll buy.
I hope you were right stopping him. Haven't got any money, Mr. Halcombe. What are we gonna do?
We're gonna count on the parson.
Why did you let the ranchers get away with burning down that farm last night?
Halcombe stopped me. Seems a parson gave him a little sermon.
Is Halcombe paying you or am I?
He's one of your farmers. Big man with him, too.
I give the orders.
Yeah, I know.
What do you mean by that?
Just what I said, that's all.
Sit down. I've got more to say to you.
Good afternoon, gents.
Oh, heard you was working for the parson. Is he home?
No, he's out visiting the farmer that got burned out last night.
But he knew we'd scheduled a meeting of the church board.
He'll be along. Are the others here yet? They're waiting. Go in and sit down, gents.
Well, he might have been here on time.
Maybe he figured that farmer needed him.
Oh, taking sides, huh? That's not a church matter. You know that, Sam.
I've got new families moving here all the time. And if they hear that the ranchers are liable to burn down their farms, they'll never finish paying for their deeds.
I'm heading for Blake's ranch.
What about Halcombe?
I'll take care of that.
Wait. There's someone else I want you to take care of, too.
Who's that?
The parson.
Sure appreciate you taking me out to that farm, Ann.
I was glad to help.
Pardon me for bothering you, Parson, but if the board members wait any longer, they'll bust their buttons.
I'm coming.
Carol?
Yes, Ann?
I mean, Parson. I hope you have a nice meeting.
Thanks, Ann.
Ann, wait. I'd like to talk to you, Ann.
Sure. Get in, Gray.
Thanks.
I wouldn't have kept you waiting, folks, if the need hadn't been great.
That's all right, Parson. Christian act, you're going out there.
That's a matter to be discussed, along with other things.
Well, I'd like to meet the rest of the board members, Mr. Maddox, who weren't in church Sunday.
Doc Runyon, Walt Kemper.
How do you do, Doctor?
Pleased to meet you, Reverend.
I keep the drugstore, Parson.
I'll surely drop in.
Of course, you know Miss Smith, the church organist. She's our school teacher, too.
I hope you'll drop in on us, too.
Well, you can count on that, Miss Smith.
Well, if you'll all sit down, we'll come to order.
Miss Smith? Understand, Elijah. I'm not with you all the way on this.
We've got to act together, Sam. We don't want no factions in our church. That right, Walt?
That's what you always say.
Well, why don't you speak out, Elijah, and get it off your chest?
I'm going to. Now, Mr. Butler, we've got a report on you that we don't like. I might even say we're filled with consternation, indignation, and...
Speculation?
There's no speculation about it. The facts are, we're not at all sure, Mr. Butler, that you're a regular minister.
I gave you the letter from the board that ordained me.
Out with it, Elijah, before you get a stroke.
Mr. Butler, according to our information, you're a gunslinger. And you've even been in the penitentiary.
Yes. I've been in prison, Mr. Maddox. I have been a gunslinger.
And you expect us to welcome a murderer as our spiritual leader?
Take it easy, Elijah.
I've never killed anyone. I'd hoped to be here a while before I told you this myself, but things have a way of catching up with a man.
Why don't you tell us the facts, Reverend?
I fell in with a bad bunch, rode with them. I thought a man had to live by a gun. That was the start. Oh, I could go on and say that evil companions had a lot to do with it, but that wouldn't excuse my own bad judgment. I might also tell you that what I did was because of restlessness, a belief that it was more exciting to be on the dodge, to be able to ride harder, draw a gun faster, live more recklessly than other men, but that, too, in the light of what I know now, would just be a feeble attempt to justify myself. Actually, I have no defense for those days. I just followed an old pattern.
Go on, Reverend.
I guess some people have to learn the hard way. I was one of them. I was young, gloried in being part of the toughest gang, but as it says in Jeremiah, and it shall come to pass that the sword which ye feared shall overtake you. It did. I went to prison. But a wonderful thing happened. Prison chaplain put a book in my hand, and I began to read. Have you ever had the joy of finding something that you've been looking for all of your life?
I found it. Teaching.
Well, I too want to teach that men can live together instead of fighting each other. Now, you've heard it all now. Except that when I'd paid my debt, I kept on reading and studying. Church board helped me, it knows all this. Would you like me to leave while you discuss this?
I gotta be getting back to the drugstore. Nothing to discuss anyway.
Elijah Maddox, I move this meeting adjourned.
I second the motion. I don't know why we're here in the first place.
Now, just a minute before you all run off.
Adjourned, Elijah. Don't forget, you're going to visit the school, Reverend.
First of the week.
I'm glad you're here, Reverend.
Thank you.
Anything I can do, let me know, Parson.
You can depend on Ann and me, Reverend.
I'm glad of that.
Been looking for you, Doc. Ed Halcom's was shot. They carried him into your office.
Who did it, Mr. Wren?
I don't know, but everybody says Vigo Tomlin.
Vigo Tomlin?
Reverend, send for late Sawyer's daughter.
Who?
Edith. She'd want to know.
But,
There's certain things which even I don't understand.
as bad as it could have been.
Will he get well?
Oh, yes. Thanks, Anne, for helping out. Better tell the parson if he's still waiting.
The doctor said he'll be all right.
Thank God for that.
Did you hear what caused it?
Yes. I was told Halcombe stopped Vigo from making a raid last night. I don't understand it. Vigo's supposed to be protecting the farmers.
Where is he?
I think it's all right if you go in.
That was Edith.
I know I sent Mr. Wren after her.
But
Maybe we should keep their secret.
Anne, the doctor wants to see you.
yes.
Oh, howdy, Parson. I want to get a statement from the injured party.
Well, he isn't able to make a statement right now.
Well, from the doc, then. I need it from my files.
Get a statement from Tomlin?
What's that?
I suppose you'll take Tomlin's when you arrest him.
Look here, Parson. Why don't you just take care of the church? Let me take care of the law.
Well, then you do intend to arrest him.
Of course I do. As soon as I get around to it.
You haven't the slightest notion of arresting Tomlin.
Parson, for a man that's new in this town, you got some opinions which, if you ask me, just ain't correct.
How long is Vigo Tomlin to be allowed to shoot, kill, defy the law?
Like I said, Parson, you run your church. Let me run the law.
Trouble is, you don't run it, Sheriff. You hide behind it.
Just what are you gonna do, Parson?
Just what has to be done. Why don't you send this telegram for me right away?
Sure, Parson.
Missed, huh? Getting real brave, Parson. Wearing a gun yet?
I told you I didn't need one.
It's too bad to mess you up, Parson. They better have another cart ready for you, right next to Halcombe.
Finish that message to the district judge. Tell him to send somebody here in a hurry. I'll explain when help arrives. But sign my name.
Take him to the doctor?
No. Home.
Who's taking him home?
Give me my mail. Was he sending the telegram?
Yeah.
Hand it to me.
You want me to tell the boys where Vigo is?
Not yet.
Are you sure Tomlin wasn't kicked by a mule?
Is he all right?
I suppose so, unfortunately. Oh, this is good. Just wear it overnight. I'll look at it again tomorrow. And keep putting on those cold compresses.
Thank you, Doctor.
Carol? What are you going to do with Vigo?
Oh, pray for him mostly.
I'll be back later.
Hello, Anne. I was just going to look in on the Reverend. The whole town's talking about how we beat up Vigo. I hope he isn't hurt too much himself.
It's very nice of you to be so interested.
Anne, there's only one person I'm interested in. And frankly, I don't like the way you and the Reverend are.
Gray, you're hurting me.
Not half as much as you're hurting me.
Let go.
Don't be a fool, Anne.
Thanks. I won't.
You just try to get up and see what I do to you.
Oh, Vigo? Comfortable?
Does it make any difference?
Yes, it does.
Save us a lot of trouble if we just shot him.
You better see who that is, Mr. Wren.
Keep a sharp eye on him, Reverend.
I must see the parson right away.
Oh, just a minute. I'll get him. Somebody to see you, Reverend.
You don't think that old man can hold me here, do you?
No.
Miss Smith sent me. They're waiting.
Who's waiting?
Edith Sawyer and Ed Helcom. They want to be married.
Morning. Some coffee. Hey, why didn't you skip out last night? When I looked in, Mr. Wren was sound asleep.
Tried, but I couldn't make it. What comes next?
No church for me. I don't know what you have in mind.
Doesn't make sense. You doctor me, put me in your own bed. Don't get it. You brought me here to preach to me. I'm
No,
not.
I didn't. If you
you want the truth, I think I see someone in you who might be just where you are now if things hadn't changed. I'd like to ask you a question. It may sound a little silly, but I'd like to know. Have you ever had a friend?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I understand. Halcom stopped you from raiding Sawyer's ranch, didn't he? Is that why you shot him? It sure doesn't make sense to shoot somebody you've been hired to protect. Or does it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You said that before.
I'm getting out of here.
Not until the authorities arrive. Halcom's alive, but you're gonna have to stand trial. A trial can be lonely. I'd like to be your friend.
Church is nearly full, Reverend. Nearly everybody turned out today. Ranchers, farmers, town folks.
Well, let's hope it's just the beginning. Take care of our guests, Mr. Wren.
My friend. A lot of talk that was. He'd sell me out as quick as he'd bat an eye. Wouldn't he, old man?
You know, son, I don't believe he'd sell anybody out.
Let us pray. Father, we thank thee for the blessings thou hast bestowed upon us. Give us strength to follow in thy way, for thy name's sake. Amen. I take my text from Ecclesiastes and St. Matthew. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets. Wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth unto destruction, and many there be that go in thereat. But strait is the gate, narrow is the way that leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. To follow this divine guidance is our eternal privilege. Indifference condones violence, excuses crime, pardons dishonesty. A community neutral toward hate cannot prosper. A nation that does not take sides with God cannot exist. There is only one right principle, and we find it written in Leviticus: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. A man's house in this community was burned to the ground and his family left homeless.
Would it not be proper for this man's house to be rebuilt by the people of Pembroke? Let me rephrase this. Is there anyone in this congregation who does not believe that he should love his neighbor as himself? If there is, I invite him to stand and make his objection.
I haven't had a hammer in my hand for 10 years. But if I can get some help.
I guess I can manage a contribution.
Thank you for this beginning. Let us pray. Hymn 176.
Top drawer.
Sneaking in here behind the parson's back?
Shut up, old man.
Not one of you.
Can't you do anything but fight?
Is that all the Sabbath means to you?
I was just fixing to leave and he jumped me.
Build a house for a man while his friends are burning ours down.
What do you mean?
While you're spouting brotherly love, the farmers burned my ranch house and killed half my cattle.
We've had enough of this.
You don't know the farmers did this.
And if they did?
We'll work something out.
What?
There's an answer, but violence isn't it.
I'm sorry.
Malcolm's in town, hiding out at Miss Smith's.
I'll settle with him. Get the boys together. We'll meet at my place.
Sure you're all right, Ed?
I'm all right, all right. I can face him, Parson.
We'll all face him.
He's here.
What are you doing here?
I belong here, Dad.
You what?
I said I belong here. I'm going to stay. This is my husband.
Your husband?
That's right, Mr. Sawyer. I married Edith and Ed. I hope he'll give you a blessing.
You dared to...
Do you think I did this to spite you? I love Ed. I'm his wife, and nothing you can do could change that.
I want no part of Ed Halcomb.
That's too bad, because he saved your ranch. He stopped Tomlin from raiding it and got shot up for his trouble.
I don't believe it.
It's true.
When you've come to your senses, let me know.
Will you stay for supper, Parson?
Thanks, I'd like to.
Will you stay too, Anne?
Not unless I can help.
Oh, fine.
We'll all help.
Anything I can do for you, Ed?
No. No thanks, Parson.
Parsonage, eh, Beagle? How do you feel?
I'll be all right.
Good. I just got word to the farmers. There's a big meeting tonight at the church. 8 o'clock.
What's the idea?
I want to get them all together in one place. Got a plan.
Like what?
I've got a job for you to handle, Vigo, fast. Before 8 o'clock. When it's finished, you'll have enough money for Mexico, South America, any place you want to go.
What if the parson gets in the way?
I'll kill him. Before 8 o'clock, you and your men are going to raid all the ranches around here. You're going to make it so hot for the ranch owners, they'll want to kill every farmer they come across. And you'll see to it they know where these farmers are meeting tonight. In the church. Get it? In the church. Ranchers attack church. Can you hear the uproar? The demand for indictments, tax curtailments of the cattle business? And who'll be there to buy up every acre of land when the ranchers want to hide their faces and get out of the country? Me. I'll own every acre of land around here. At my price.
At our price.
What?
You heard me.
You're leaving.
I like it here. I'll send my boys away. You get me for your partner. We split everything, 50-50.
All right. We'll work it out. Later. Get going.
There's nothing to work out. It's all settled.
See you at the service.
Terrell. I want you to know that I think you're doing wonderful things for the town.
I hope so.
And I'd like to be part of it. I love you.
And I love you, Anne. How could I help it? I thought you and Arnett.
He frightens me.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. I just don't trust him. I love you. I want to be part of your world.
Are you sure, Anne?
Oh, yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
If you marry a preacher, you marry his church. There's little to offer. You'll have my troubles and those of everyone else in the congregation.
It doesn't matter.
But it does, Anne.
It does.
It does. You just think of Pembroke. And you think of the smaller villages in the mountains and the plains and the deserts where we may have to go. But you think of the people, Anne. Generous and mean, proud, humble, and greedy, with problems and burdens. Can you understand sharing those problems and burdens, Anne, deliberately and gladly?
Yes, yes.
You know, there's very little worldly compensation. You may have to wear the same dress for years, maybe, while others show the latest fashion. You'll never have a home of your own. We don't know how long we'll be in one place. Can you picture a life like that, Anne? You're so used to living
Are
here.
you proposing, Reverend Butler?
Yes, I am, Anne.
Half the farmers in the community are camped in front of your church, Reverend.
Farmers? Aren't there any ranchers?
No.
Terrell.
You better stay here.
There's the parson. We're all here, parson.
What's this all about?
Arnett told us to be here. Said there'd be an important meeting about this land war.
He did?
Yes, yes, he did.
And the land guards are watching the farms for us.
Why don't we go inside? It's almost time for evening services.
All right. Church is a proper place for a meeting. No ranchers in there anyway. Come on, boys.
Leave your guns by the door.
Dan.
We'll wipe them out for good this time, Lathe. Burning houses, killing cattle. It's gotta stop.
Are you sure it was farmers, John? Some of my men spotted Tomlin's gunslingers around our place.
What's the difference? Tomlin works for him, doesn't he?
Let's go.
Give us wisdom, Lord, and understanding that we may live as brothers. Amen. While we're waiting, I'd like to say something. I know that many of you are wondering if it is or if it will be safe to raise your children in this community. Well, I say to you that it will be as safe as your thoughts make it. sure your thoughts are clear. You are brothers, all of you. Ranchers, farmers alike. Remember that. But some force, some motivated force, is trying to turn this community into a den of lions, ready to leap and tear to shreds the very things that we love. Have you ever given thought as to who will gain the most? Who will gain the most?
It's all done, like you said.
Yeah?
My boys are all gone. I sent them away.
You what?
Figured we didn't need them anymore, partner.
Why not appoint a committee among you to meet tomorrow with a committee of those who oppose you? And finally, when ranchers and farmers have heard...
Everybody stay in their seats.
Here you go.
Get you to a dock.
No.
Who did it?
Arnett. He's behind all this. Stealing all the land. He's gonna kill the boss. Tell him a friend.
Take care. Let's go after him, man. Drag him out of church.
No one enters this church except to worship God.
You can't stop us this time.
Put your gun away before you do something drastic. All I ask of you is to come in and talk it over. You and every man willing to respect the house of God.
That seems a fair challenge, Sawyer. What have you got to lose?
We've got our ranches to lose. We'll talk here.
Then ask yourselves this. Why must a farmer fight for what is legally his? Why must a rancher see the destruction of land that he pioneered? Have you ever stopped to wonder why? A little while ago, I spoke of brotherly love. I also spoke of some ungodly force turning this community into a den of lions. Vicious, hateful, venomous men. This can only end in murderous assault upon one another. But you are ranchers, not murderers. They are farmers, not murderers. Why don't you elect a delegation to go to the officials of the Western Railroad? Offer them a fair price for that land.
Just a moment, Parson. We've already done that through Arnett and been turned down.
This time, go direct, not through Arnett.
You're lucky, Arnett. He's all right. Just shot Vigo, and he was going to kill you, Parson.
And he was going to steal all the land from the ranchers and farmers. Vigo Tomlin told me.
Vigo?
Said to tell you a friend sent the warning.
A friend?
Yeah.
Come on.
I want to...
Malcolm. Where are you going?
Home. We can't take more than one miracle in a day.
Now, Anne, one more serious problem. This is it. Do you know where we can find a preacher?